The National Autism History Museum offers an in-depth journey through the history of autism, tracing its roots back nearly 100 years. The museum presents a thorough timeline, often overlooked achievements, and authentic historical items that narrate the saga of autism. Dr. Steve Edelson, a respected figure in the autism community with a career spanning over 4 decades, has carefully curated the exhibits, drawing inspiration from distinguished colleagues such as Drs. Temple Grandin, Bernard Rimland, Margaret Bowman, and Ivar Lovaas. The museum's narrative is a chronological account, starting with the first documented study of autistic behaviors observed in children made by a Ukrainian researcher in Russia in 1925, extending to the Netherlands in the 1930s, and finally to the United States in the 1940s. Timed with the 80th commemoration of Dr. Kanner's pivotal 1943 work, it is set to mark the centennial of the first scholarly article on autism in a couple of years. Dr. Leo Kanner, widely recognized as the father of child psychiatry, published a detailed description of autism in 1943. His landmark writings on the topic have been compiled into a rare anthology, which, along with its scarce book cover, is on display for public viewing at the museum. Nearly 2 decades later, Dr. Bernard Rimland reshaped the autism field by emphasizing its biological origins, challenging the then widely held belief that autism resulted from parental neglect or emotional distress. His impactful work is showcased in the museum through a rare UK edition of his influential book, Infantile Autism: The Syndrome and Its Implications for a Neural Theory of Behavior. The museum emphasizes crucial events, including the American Psychiatric Association's evolving definitions of autism and the documented prevalence from 1966 to 2023. Pioneering scientific advancements in genetics and neurology are also highlighted. The museum honors Temple Grandin, an iconic figure in the autism community, by featuring a galley proof of her most famous book, Thinking in Pictures. The museum also explores autism's portrayal in cinema, with notable attention to Rain Man, a film where the Autism Research Institute played an instrumental role in its production. The introduction of Julia, a Muppet used to increase awareness of autism on Sesame Street, is also spotlighted. A thought-provoking exhibit presents an assortment of logos used to represent autism since the 1960s. Originally, autism was represented by one or more puzzle pieces. The first puzzle piece logo was created to depict a child engaged in finger flicking, a common autistic behavior but frequently misinterpreted as a crying child. Following the expression of dissatisfaction from autistic individuals who felt the puzzle piece suggested they were lacking a vital human aspect, prominent national autism organizations in the United States and the UK modified their logos to better represent autism. The museum also shines a light on savant abilities, which are observed in about 10% of the autistic population. These include skills like calendar memory, where an individual can determine the day of the week based on a given birth date. Visitors can watch 2 videos featuring Dr. Rimland's son, Mark, who has this ability and demonstrates how he performs these calculations. Among the displayed artifacts is a 1964 Life magazine issue discussing electric shock as a treatment approach at a renowned UCLA clinic. Also available for view are foundational scientific texts on autism, many of which were originally delivered as papers at think tank meetings. Guests can also thumb through a book written by a sociologist who presented a persuasive argument that President Thomas Jefferson had a form of autism called Asperger's syndrome. The museum plans to continually introduce more interactive materials for its visitors. Enhancing the experience, mobile accessible audio guides and videos delve deeper into the exhibits. Additionally, the museum features art by autistic artists. The aim of the museum is to foster understanding and awareness of autism, acknowledging its considerable influence on many individuals and their families. Through an extensive depiction of autism's evolution, The museum seeks to promote acceptance and improved societal support for those on the autism spectrum.